first drill in our sequence is the active hamstring. You'll lie down on your back and you will actually bring your leg up towards your chest. Leg doesn't need to be completely extended. It can actually be slightly bent. You'll do 10 repetitions on either side. And when you're finished with your repetition, you can do a nice gentle stride out for 50 to 100 meters. Our current cones are set 50 meters apart, and our demonstrator will come back from 50 to 100 meters. And our next dynamic flexibility exercise is the cat-camel. That's where you're going to be arching your back and then curling it. Arch and curl. Arch and curl. You will repeat that sequence 10 times. Again, an exercise to stretch out your thoracic area. And after that sequence is done, you go back to jogging your 100 meters. And our next dynamic flexibility is called the Eagles. And that is where you'll bring the leg straight up first and then over across the center line of your body, alternating from one side to the other. Hands outstretched to your side. You'll do that 10 times on either leg, alternating. And then once you're finished with that, you'll go back to your 50 to 100 meter stride. Going through an entire dynamic flexibility drill sequence, you can get anywhere from 800 to 1800 meters of running. So you can see quite quickly that you can get a substantial amount of pre-warm-up distance in with this routine. Our next sequence will be the hurdle seat exchange, and that exercise you'll get in a traditional hurdler's stretch position, but you'll change it up and rotate around to get back into the opposite leg hurdle stretch position. You're not actually moving your body down towards your knee as you would in a static stretch hurdle position, but you're just simply switching legs from one side to the other, coming back into the original hurdle position. You'll do that 10 times for each leg. And then once you're finished with that, you'll move on to your 50 to 100 meter stride. And our next dynamic flexibility is going to be our fire hydrant. And that is where you get on all fours and you'll bring one hip extended out directly to the side of you, 10 times on either side. And once we finish the fire hydrant, we will move on to hip circles. Straight onto hip circles. And as you can see with our hip circles, you're just rotating your hips around and loosening up the trunk area. Sometimes you get a laugh out of kids by calling this the Britney Spears party dance stretch. You rotate 10 times on either side, and then turn around and go ahead and resume your 50 to 100 meter stride. Important thing here is to make sure that these are just relaxed jogs in between the cones and not sprints. Our next exercise will be our skip squats, where we will skip three to four times and then come down briefly to a squat position. We come back again and reverse onto the other leg. You can do so in a small area or a large area. Use your cones to do your skip squats between. The idea here is to make sure that your athletes come down slowly and control the motion rather than to do the motion quickly. Once we're done with skip squats, we go straight into what's called the scissors. Scissors are essentially, you point your toes out, taking very, very small steps, using your arm movement in a very quick manner, taking quick steps with your toes pointed out. Quick step, quick step, quick step, quick step. Very good. After our scissors, we'll take a 50 to 100 meter stride. And our next exercise will actually be a drill, and that is called a fast leg. And what we are looking for here is to come up in a start position first with toe up, knee up, and then to rotate that through. Coming back to the return position with toe up, knee up. This promotes a good ground strike, being able to position the foot in such a manner where you bring it underneath your hip on foot plant rather than extend it out and drop forward in front of you. That is a fast leg. And next we will do an A-walk. And an A-walk is a precursor to a drill called the A-skip. Again, starting out with a toe up, knee up position, you're just going to walk through this first, making sure that your athlete uses their arms in sequence with their legs with a toe up, knee up motion. It's important to go ahead and start with the walk, especially with younger athletes, because they simply can't get the A-skip right off the bat without taking a walking position as we're doing now with an A-walk. Emphasize toe up, knee up, arm drive. Toe up, knee up, arm drive. After we get done with our A-walk, then we will move to an A-skip. And that's taking, again, moving that A-walk position, toe up, knee up, driving the arms, and turning it into a skip. You can actually do that lengthwise between cones. And as you can see, You are just simply skipping through the motion, driving your arms through, toe up, knee up. After we get done with a skip, we'll take a 50 to 100 meter stride. And return for our next dynamic flexibility, which will be ankle circles. Ankle circles, you're simply rotating the ankle around, each ankle around 10 times in one direction, then 10 times in another. Once you're complete one leg, you simply move to the other. And we move directly from ankle circles into what is a complicated drill. It's called a B-skip. B-skips are something that your athletes are going to have a little bit of time to get used to. You're starting up in that A-walk position, and you're taking that A-walk position and kicking the leg out, sliding it back underneath the hip while keeping the toe up and knee up. If you remember back to the previous drill in terms of fast leg, this is just taking your fast leg position and skipping with it. Okay, let's try that one more time. Again, it's a toe up, knee up, sliding the foot back underneath the hip in drive phase. After we finish with B-skip, we go to a 50 to 100 meter stride. And we come back and do a dynamic calf stretch. That's where you're going to skip a few times. Point your toe towards your knee and reach down and touch your toe. Every time you take a skipping sequence, you switch to the alternate leg. And continue that for 50 meters down and 50 meters back. As you can see, we are pointing the toe towards the knee. Make sure that this one is done slowly. After we finish our dynamic calf stretch, we return to a 50 to 100 meter stride. And our next one will be called a retro. And retro is simply running backwards. That's where you get up onto the balls of your feet and drive your legs backwards. Driving your legs backwards using your arms as well. Again, want to make sure that your athletes are not looking behind their shoulder when they're doing this. This one always is fun for kids to do because they wind up bumping into things behind them. But again, it's a drive back, using your arms, extending your hips, and staying on your toes. And after we finish our retros, we'll go to a 50 to 100 meter jog. And our next drill will be a regular karaoke. Most kids have done this if they can remember back in their football practices they've done a karaoke. But for our purposes, what we'll do in the karaoke is to make sure that we keep the upper body still, making sure that we rotate the hips, keeping the upper body still. After our regular karaoke, what we do is we'll go to a high knee karaoke. That is where we'll face one direction, and the crossover leg will be your high leg. You'll bring that leg high and cross it over the center line of the body. The key here is to stay up on your toes. When you reverse back the opposite direction, you will reverse your crossover leg. So you go one direction with right leg high, and you'll come back the other direction with left leg crossover high. Going from the high knee karaoke, we'll do a series of butt kicks. And that is, you're going to be staying on your toes, promoting arm drive, but making sure that their back of their heels are coming back up and flicking their backside. And you can see the knee drive also associated with these butt kicks in order to bring the back of the heel back to the buttocks. And let's go ahead and turn around and show that going across this way, how that's accomplished. You can see how you have to bring up your knees in order for the back of the heels to hit the buttocks. Please remember to coach your athletes not to lean forward in order to achieve a butt kick. And we finally wrap up with leg swings, and we'll go over to a stationary position to do so. Final drill will be our leg swings. We'll do 10 each side, swinging straight forward. Make sure you can do this also as well with a buddy standing next to you. A little bit easier if you've got a stationary post or tree or building that you can hold on to. The next leg swing, you position yourself facing the stationary object and swing across the front of your body. Alternating 10 times on either side.